First season's good.
I'm late.
Oh.
I'm 3 minutes late. I'm sorry. I had my older daughter on the phone. Lavender Sunday. Hi, Teresa. Jeannie, hello. Fairy Dust, hello. Carrie, my sweet Flash. Hold on. I'm sorry. Miss Pudwina, hello. Hello. Oh, everybody's here. Hey, Half Pint. I'm ready for this. I'm so ready for this. Hush, how you doing? I know. I can't wait. I am gonna put the dig on. I even have a my daughter cat is kicking my desk.
Hey guys.
So hey peas, hey whistle down. So that because y'all I'm bad at reading chat. So she's gonna be my chat reader. And there is the link for anyone. I don't know about y'all. In my neighborhood right now, it sounds like Yugoslavia. Is that what? No. What's the place? Ukraine. That's what it sounds like. A Ukraine. Hey guys.
I didn't even want to say it.
It sounds like a Ukraine out there right now.
God, Mom.
I never claimed to be smart. I love you, guys. I'm going to adopt Ghost and Peach and their children, and I just need a bigger stove. Hey, Cat Black, Band-Aid of memories. I think we have the photo. I know we have the photo. Hey, Freeside, Ukraine. I'm sorry, Jeannie. I'm not dumb, but yeah, I meant that. I'm doing great, Hush. How are you? How are y'all?
I'm so cool.
She's my chat reader, and then she taught me. Well, she's taught me before how to do the photos, but then I forget because I'm old
and dumb
and not very bright. Andrew Smith, how I know you got us. You got us. You always leave the sweetest little comments on my stuff, and I appreciate you. Really do brighten my day. You really do. What? Oh, look, there, ma'am. And then I thought I should wear something black. It's Morgan. I love you, Morgan. I love those babies. I should have worn something black, and I didn't think ahead. We are ready. Well, then somebody needs to come up here. I'm going to put this back here again.
You look like Barbie.
I do. Catherine said I look like Barbie.
You do.
My birthday is Tuesday, 4th of July. Yay! I mean, come on. I bet you did listen, y'all. All right. Hey, Curious. Hey, Watcher. Ghost has got a great channel. And I think Nicolina was like talking about today. He didn't start a long time ago. I mean, it's been like 6 months or so, and he's already so seasoned. It won't work. Shit. He's so seasoned when it comes to his presentations, and we're on Jimbo right now, but I know that he will move on. I mean, when it's time, don't get me wrong. You started in February. All right, I started 7 years ago, Ghost, and I can't figure out how to work the damn StreamYards, but whatever.
Has it actually been 7 years?
Daphne, it's probably been longer than that I've actually been streaming. Yeah, it's been
streaming.
Yeah. My account is from a long time ago where I just watch stuff.
Do you want me to see how long?
I don't. No. Anyway, Ghost is great, and you should sub to his channel, and I can't get to it to share it. But he needs to be over 1,000. Y'all know I always have my nose. You got help from Nick? Yes, Nick knows what she's doing. I need like little
The
class.
link still.
I tried to dress the time period. Jenny, I almost did too. I thought about it for 2 weeks about dressing the time period, finding a dahlia, painting it black, sticking it in my hair, which would have been fun. I just didn't carry it through. I didn't carry it through.
The link still isn't showing up.
The link is not showing up. Let me try it on my phone. Let me try it on my phone. It's gonna be, if it's gonna be a dick to me, then I'm just not having it.
Well, I think you need to have it, Mom.
I know I do need to have it. Enter studio. Hey, traders, what are you doing? Traders is bad news, y'all. Bad news. You don't even know. Bad news. I love her. I love her. All right. Oh. Okay, stop it.
Turn your phone down, Mom.
I did turn my phone down.
Oh.
It's you?
No.
You lie, it is you.
No, no, you need to mute yourself on there.
Oh, I'm gone now.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys.
Okay, now you're gone.
Okay. Let me try this. Why won't it do it?
What is this noise outside?
Because when I do it, it's coming up twice. So that's kind of weird. Don't do this to me tonight. Listen here, StreamYards. I am not in the mood. It didn't do it again, did it?
What?
It just went twice again.
You're not on here.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? Do you want a side-by-side view? It's just here now.
Right. All right, guys. Hold on. Shit.
You're trying your best, Mom, and that's all that matters.
That is true. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
All right. This is making me angry. Y'all gonna see a angry Shannon.
They've never seen that before.
Y'all like to look up my nose right there? Did y'all enjoy that?
I don't know. Someone said try pinning it. Okay. Mute yourself on.
I just muted myself on there. Sorry again. Sorry. It showed up?
Yes.
It showed up.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh.
It showed up?
Good job, Mom. I'm proud of you.
I didn't throw anything. All right, now just mods, don't lose that. Don't lose it. And then I have to mod up. Hold on. There's Lavender.
Remember.
Welcome to the stream. I can't look. There's Lavender.
Hey, Lavender's got no makeup on, so
Okay.
We
I
can't be
just
showing
started
our
up.
face.
I tarted myself right up. Sure did. How you doing tonight? How you doing?
We are good. We've been going down the rabbit hole on this.
Listen. It's a rabbit hole too. Hey, Colleen Bennett, how are you tonight? Voodoo, thank you so much. Um, so this is a rabbit hole, and
Turn the volume down.
today when we were doing the photographs, and I did get the gory photographs. Sorry, I probably should warn y'all. I got the gory ones. Um, and she was, to think this happened 1947, and no, but there's a lot of these murders that don't have any. Oh, Jeannie, what are you doing?
Hello?
Hi.
I can't hear anything.
Oh
I
no.
can't. I can't hear anything.
Leave
I
and
wonder
come
why. Hold on.
back.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh God! Okay, it's gotta be me. All right, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, cool.
So good to meet you.
I'm Jillian. Welcome. I am so excited that this is a lot of people are really into this case, and you would think at this point in time, the interest would die down, right? But it never has. Never has. And you have, people that are still confessing or their fathers. Oh, my father killed them. So do y'all have, when we get to the suspect list, do y'all have a suspect that y'all?
Do we have a suspect?
I'm going to ask you who. I'll just
Yeah, we can't
No,
tell.
I made notes. I made notes, but I'm I'm a little rusty on this.
Yeah.
But I did make notes, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube stories about
Right.
it. So I'm sorry, and my book hasn't got here yet, and so I'm sorry.
I pulled out mine and I forgot. Every time I read a book or I use one of my books, I take the jacket off of it. This is the latest one that I've read, which was Black Dahlia, Red Rose.
Okay.
And in this book, this is a really good book. And it makes a great case for one of the suspects. A lot of weird, actually his name is Leslie Dillon. And he was pulled in. And then hold on, I have more. I've got James Elroy's Black Dahlia, which doesn't really speak to.
I saw that one. I didn't know which book to order.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Then I have somewhere around here.
There we go.
My hate affair, not love affair. My hate affair with Steve Hodel and the Black Dahlia Avenger.
Yep.
I read that book. I've said it before. If you only have a week to live, read that book because it will take forever.
Yeah.
I've written 2 more.
Yes.
Nobody's reading them.
Yeah.
Torso Killer around the same time as this one?
The Torso Killer was in Cleveland, Ohio. And I did a state of disorder. I did a lot of research on that too, just to say they're similar, but not really. It's not. And then there was a murder of a socialite coming home from the Hollywood Canteen, and she was murdered and put in a bathtub. And they thought, oh, that's got to be connected because obviously, the Black Dahlia was put on boards on top of a tub. I mean, it's no. So I'll just give people, if y'all don't know, I'm just going to give you a little Hold on.
Two.
Oh yeah, my director thing.
Mom.
Now.
Knocked over the lamp.
Oh, sorry.
I've had this. I got it. I almost knocked over my lamp. Not used to it being there. So briefly, Elizabeth Short was the third daughter of 5 to Phoebe and Cleo Short. He designed miniature golf deals. When the Depression came, apparently nobody wanted to play golf, so
I don't know why.
So what he did was, he has 5 daughters and a wife. He parks his car near a bridge in Massachusetts, where they're from, near Boston, and he just, hey, Outshine, how are you? He is gone. Everyone in the town just said he's jumped. Things were so horrible, and so Phoebe. Coming through my window. Phoebe was a bookkeeper and she raised the girls. Now, Beth had really bad asthma. When she was 15, she had to have an operation on one of her lungs. I mean, it was pretty bad. So Massachusetts winters weren't good for her. They had some, friends of the family in Miami, and every winter she would go to Miami. She'd be a waitress. She worked. Eventually she just didn't come back. I mean, she quit school in the 10th grade. Well, there's 2 stories to this. One story is that Cleo wrote a letter to his family saying, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not dead. I'm in California. My bad. There's another story that Phoebe was walking down the street and here comes Cleo coming up, meets her on the street and her dead husband. So, no. She said, I don't think I would like for you to come back. And he said, okay, thank you. And hey, Susan, yay. So
Hi, Susan.
Beth decided she was going to go out to California. Not good. Not good. This is when I wish that I could tell y'all, and if y'all did any research, y'all know it's really hard to get to know Elizabeth Short. She didn't, the things that she did tell people were lies.
Yeah.
They were lies for survival, I think. But her dad said, okay, you move in here with me. And she's about 19, I think, at the time. And, you take care of the house and whatever. Oh, Earth, I love you. Thank you. And that did not work out. He asked her to leave around in January. January was not a good month for her. It was so though.
Yeah.
So then she also got in trouble at a bar for underage drinking. So they sent her back to Massachusetts. Well, she came back. All right. So that was one, I'll tell you, that was one set of prints they had. She got a job on a base in the store. They took her fingerprints again because it was Army. And so 2 sets of fingerprints. That'll be important. All right. So, hey, State of Disorder, welcome to the screening room. Now, she met a couple of, she really liked soldiers. And so she met a man. Let me find him. I have all my stuff here. Let me find his name.
You should put tabs on your papers.
I put tabs on my papers.
Oh, you're smarter than I am. I just got to put start. I can't read any of it.
All right, his name was Michael Gordon Jr. And she says that he asked her to marry him through the mail. They had dated, while she was in Miami. He went into battle, right? And he went to India. He had one plane crash, right? And I think that when he was recovering from that is when he supposedly asked her to marry him. Well, then he had another plane crash. And that was a week before the war ended, and he died.
I think that one really. I think that's the one that really messed her up.
I think it could have been. It could have, yeah, because she wanted, I wish I could sit here and tell y'all, all she talked about, hey, Tennessee Poppy. She just wanted to be stable. Well, everybody on earth wants to be stable. Like, duh. Again, I've read four or five books on her, and I don't know her at all. I don't know her. So she had a little cutting of it, a little newspaper cutting of his wreck. But the one she showed people had a mark through the name of the bride. And she said, oh, hey, girl. Oh, they put the wrong name in there. Whatever. So this Beth, Beth is now decided she wants to be in Los Angeles. She just said that she wanted to be an actress. She might have said it. I don't know. Maybe everybody wants to be an actress there, but she never applied herself. She never went to an audition that anybody knows about. She never took any acting classes. I mean, she was basically just surviving for years. And she would write to all these men, and there's photographs of her. Hold on, I might be able to show you one.
Oh.
I'm going to show you some.
You think she had some kind of personality disorder?
I don't know. See, that's a great question. Am I showing?
That's what we were kind of thinking that when we were watching some of her stuff.
I don't know what she had. I don't know. It's like I said, I have and I think this is one of the most beautiful photographs of her.
Yes.
Is that considered a headshot? Actors and actresses have headshots. Is this a headshot? I don't know. It could be. This is the one that they took when she got arrested. But look at her eyes. Look at her face. She's a beautiful girl, even without it. So, is it not flipped over yet?
No, it has. Just make sure you.
Oh yeah, I got to give you warnings after this. This is going to go in like order of my. I picked the gory ones, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Those are some pictures, huh? I made a lot of notes about the autopsy pictures and stuff.
Well, I got one photograph of her on the table.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, honey, I got them. I'm warning everybody. And I can't see shit you're gonna tell me. So anyway, she was moving around from boarding house to boarding house, moving around. I really tried to get her last 6 months of life, but she would go stay here. It wouldn't work out. She would go stay here. She would go with 8 people in one, apartment, bunk beds, $1 a day. She couldn't pay that. She'd go back over to, there's a man named Mark Hansing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He owned a club. He had a large, I guess you would call it a boarding house. I don't really know what else to call it. Where just flops would come and Elizabeth being one of them. Would just come and live. And he was really attracted to her. And she kept teasing him. That's what everybody would call her, tease. Either people called her a prostitute or a tease.
I think she was a prostitute.
She had to live somehow.
Yeah, and just some of the connections that are going to come up later on. There's a lot of these suspects know each other.
which is again weird. And but hey, I'm gonna put it back on that because that's a beautiful picture of her. The next one we're gonna see is not beautiful.
No, there's one more.
Oh, is it one more?
One more, like picture for.
So the Florentine Gardens, that's what Mark Hansen, that was the club that he owned, which by the way is still there. I don't, obviously he ain't running it, but anyway. He had dozens of movie theaters and stuff like that. He would pick up these girls scantily, would put them in hardly any clothes and make them work in his clubs, which I guess they were glad to work. I don't know.
Was it like a burlesque kind of place, or was it?
I think it was actually. Yeah, it was a. I mean, it was a. Not one of your better.
High class.
Yeah, but I guess when you're Beth, it's what some people called her. Betty is what other people called her. She kind of hooked onto this guy, and he really was into her. But she would, he would kick her out. She would come back. He would kick her out. She would come back. So he put her up. No, one of the women in the damn house put her up in a motel somewhere, and then she came back, and he didn't like it because she had a lot of dates. So she would have them pick her up down the block on the next block, and from what people said, it was a lot. It was every night, there was somebody new picking her up. I mean, I even have the day. This was horrible, but it's like all all right. Oh, Carlos Avenue. Here they go. Endless stream of boyfriends, soldiers, sailors, flyers, teachers, students, salesmen, advertisers, bank clerks, barmen, bricklayers, mechanics, artists, photographers, estate agents. I mean, that's a pretty detailed list.
She had a lot of friends.
She did have a lot of friends. Yes, she did. And somehow, when she would go out, she'd come back with the money. But if she was a prostitute, she would come back with, I would think, more money.
Yeah.
Than just, barely. But then I don't know. Another thing I want to tell y'all about this is everywhere that she moved, her luggage came with her right away.
Yeah.
Right
and she
away.
Had clothes and she dressed nice and had herself together. And it was just, to me, it was like, wow, how I don't understand. How, I would lose stuff.
She didn't. She was, I think the word was fastidious about her suitcase.
I don't know what that means.
She had a big like trunk, and then she had a regular suitcase, and she did not let it out of her sight. When she was moving around. That's one thing, and that's going to be something in a little while that you're going to find odd. So she was unhappy. Let's see. So Mark kicked her out for the last time, and he said, "Don't come back." And she went down to the Chancellor Hotel, and that's where she was rooming with 8 other girls for $1 a day.
And she didn't get along with all of them.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I mean, now we're gonna come to the Frenches. So this would be the last month of her life, was what we're getting ready to get into. The very last month. She was 22 years old. She God bless her heart. A girl named Dorothy French worked in a all-night movie theater, and she saw Elizabeth Short asleep in the theater, which a lot of vagrants did. And she said, "Kid, do you want to come home with me and, just kind of get something to eat and get some rest?" Well, she ended up staying for a month. And Elvira was her mother, and there was also a teenage son. So Beth just kind of stayed on the couch. didn't really do anything all day. She'd have all of her stuff sprung out. She would be doing her makeup, painting her nails. They even said her musky perfume was so thick through the house. And then, the teenage boy is there with all this, flouncy stuff around. So lacy underwear and whatnot. So while she was there, she met a man named Red Manley, who was a salesman, a married salesman. And he came and pick her up, and they would, whatever they did. And
I do too, enlighten.
Yeah. Well, what? I'm sorry, I can't even see. Oh yeah, mental. Yeah, because I can tell you, if y'all read any. Hey, Marie, I'm sorry, I was over on the other side. I can't see chat when I'm doing that. So it finally came to where, listen, the mother, Miss French, said, no, we can't do this anymore. My son's watching you, sling your drawers everywhere, and you're not trying to get a job, and you're going to have to go. She calls Mark Hansen to come get her. He doesn't do it. So she calls Red and said, can you take me back to LA? Well, they go out to dinner first, and they have some drinks, and then they get into a motel. And his story is that, hey, crazy. His story is that she grabbed all the blankets and said, I'm on my period, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was cold and stuff, and he had to light a fire or something.
Yeah. And she said, I'm on my period, leave me alone. And he did. But he said, what was funny is she went out there and she made him bring her suitcase in. That's how I'm saying. She always needed that shit around her. And then Dorothy had made the comment that while she lived with them, here's the quote. While she was with us, she apparently needed a great deal of money for something. She also said that Elizabeth Short was scared and anxious. But when Red came and picked her up, she left on foot. He picked her up around a corner, and the mother, Elvira, said that she could hear him laughing and joking. So what was she scared of? I don't. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Was that the time that the three people showed up at Elvira's house?
Yes, they did. Yes, two men and a woman. Two men and a woman. That's going to be important too in a little while. Hey, Wildflower. That's going to be important too because the same time. I don't know. Y'all. This is crazy. This is crazy. So this was on January 8th.
For the new people.
I should be a lawyer.
No.
What? What?
Before you go to the next side, just remember warning for the.
I'm going to warn them about the picture. So on January 8th, that is when she told Red that. So her trunk, she put in a Greyhound locker. Hey, Liza, she put her big trunk in a Greyhound locker in San Diego. Why would you do that if you're leaving for LA? But she did it, whatever. She told Red, my sister is coming in from wherever, and we're going to stay at the Biltmore. So he drops her off at the Biltmore. He says he was so glad to get rid of her because she was just like, never stopped. He says that, but was
the Biltmore really expensive back then, or was it moderate, or
It was a nice hotel. Yeah, it was nice, and I almost grabbed some pictures of it because it's still beautiful now. It's absolutely Art Deco, and it's still a nice hotel. Obviously nobody was coming to meet her. They
Is
say
that
She didn't have any money.
it's haunted because a lot of stars stayed there. I know my favorite Marilyn Monroe did.
Yes.
So the last time Beth is seen is in the lobby. The clerk said that she was going and using the payphone. Now, Red said when he was waiting with her before for her sister to get there, he didn't want to leave her alone. She kept going up to the desk. He couldn't. So the last verified sighting of her was in the lobby of the Biltmore on January 8th. The next time we see her, and nobody sees her. Nobody sees her. And to this day, I couldn't tell you the next time she's seen. All right, y'all get ready. The next time she's seen is on January 15th. And a woman, poor Miss Betty Bursinger was walking down the road with her 3-year-old child to go to get her shoes had been worked on. And so she looks over because all of this is, in fact, all of this is there are lots. There's a what do you call that?
Hey, Clancy.
We call them a sidewalk. Sidewalks there and no houses. So she's walking and she thinks, oh, good Lord, look at that. There's a dummy, a mannequin. Ooh. And she gets closer and she gets closer. And get ready. Is it up yet? Hold on. It takes a second to come up. Is it up yet?
Is it incredible? That's just
Hey,
that didn't come up when you were.
Now,
See what she's
this is what she found walking down the street with her daughter.
Her legs look weird too.
She had been drained of blood. Not a drop of blood was on her. If you look at her knee, right here, it's distended, and above that is where he cut out a tattoo.
Okay.
There's a better shot of that. This ain't the worst one. So under her, she's got a cut. If you see, if y'all can see my thing. Here's that she's cut from her belly button all the way down. Okay. And her intestines are neatly cut under her butt.
Under her butt. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's the bottom half of her. And this is a 22-year-old kid.
Hey, Uber.
Kid,
Ryan's age.
And we're going to get, all right, this is going to be the top. This is going to be the top with the mouth. So
I don't want to see
get
that.
ready. Uber, I love you. Thank you. Okay. Is it there? Is it there? Okay. Okay, here's the top. She has got her nose is crushed. Who's got me? Somebody's got me live.
What's
Her
happening?
nose is crushed up into her face. She has got ligatures around her wrists, around her neck, and around her.
Why is that echoing?
If you see right beside her breast, she had a piece of that cut off. If you go over to the other breast, which I won't do, it is hanging on by nothing, really. And if you can see some organs down here on the bottom. Now her head. When they did the autopsy, she had a blows to the head, front and side, and top, and the cuts along her mouth. One side was 3 inches, one side was 2.5 inches, and it is that cut and those blows to her head that killed her.
They call that cut the Glasgow smile.
Yeah, the Glasgow smile.
Isn't that something? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think all this, we have a theory, and I think it has to do with who killed her. Like the reason all this is here, like it is.
Right. Because whoever it is wanted her found.
And wanted her displayed.
Somebody's got their YouTube on.
Hang on, I'm gonna mute.
On their YouTube side.
Is it?
Nope. It is.
Is it me?
I think so.
Oh no.
Okay.
What do I do?
To mute your volume on YouTube because you'll be able to hear it through StreamYards.
Okay, so did I not talking mute?
No. You mute. Wait a minute. All right, it's gone.
Oh.
It's gone.
Okay.
It's gone. There we go. Fixed. So the blows to the head. So what you're seeing there are on her forehead are actual blows with if you look at her body and everything that was done to her, right? And she was carefully washed.
And gasoline.
What?
And gasoline.
No, her things were washed in gasoline.
Okay.
She was washed in the water. They did her. I mean, there's signs of rape in all orifices. All right. I mean, I can give y'all the dilation, but I don't think y'all really want to hear it. And they left nothing. She was checked everywhere for it. And whoever did this, would you think that this is somebody's first attempt at murder?
Absolutely not.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit. Sorry. All right. Here is all up. Now, here's where we're going to start hearing about the journalists that have shown up and the term yellow journalism.
That is true yellow journalism.
I didn't see that one either.
Hey.
That picture, yeah, you can see the spine was still intact.
And then I'll show you what it looks like today, which is right there. Can you imagine being the one that lives on that? Right? I mean,
before this one, where it looks like she's an
pictures in
autopsy,
front of their
they
house
to
all the
see her
time.
in 2 pieces, and the spine was still intact. And I thought they said it was
medical background for sure.
He was severed, but the
For
spine
sure.
was still intact.
But this doesn't look to me like the work of a novice. Also, they took the tattoo she had,
yes,
shoved it in her, put it inside of her vagina, in that area. They had made her eat feces.
Yeah, they found some kind of pellets.
Yeah, and like grainy, gritty material. But she was made to eat feces.
And they played tic-tac-toe on her body.
Yes, they did. There you are. This is why I love having people on panel, because then I don't have to say it. I don't have to say it.
It's horrible.
It is horrible. It's horrible. And so they were trying to obviously the guy didn't, there was a dark car seen there earlier in the morning, because 10 o'clock in the morning is pretty late in the day. The sun's up, obviously. So she had been dead about 10 hours is what the autopsy said before she was found. I don't know how they could tell that if everything is drained. I don't know, whatever. 10 hours is to think she was somewhere.
Because if all the
from
blood
the
was drained
night
out, there'd be no rigor
they-
mortis, right?
It will. That's what I wondered. If you don't have any blood,
He
with
has to
rigor
stay
mortis,
there.
I don't know.
But it's like they usually like measure the temperature of like the
Right.
everything
Well, I
together.
don't think she would have a temperature. Bless her heart. She don't think she got a temperature.
No, but I don't know how they would determine.
Elite, yeah.
Evil cult members that sacrifice people, which is interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna get into those suspects because some of them we all know well. I mean, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So the police didn't know who she was, and they took her fingerprints, and they used their new machine, it's called a fax machine, and they faxed them to the FBI, and the FBI said, "Oh, that's Elizabeth Short." They were, and here's her picture. Back then, journalists were in there in the office of the police, and they said, "Oh, okay, she's from Medford, Massachusetts." So these reporters get on the phone, call her mother, Phoebe, and say, "Oh, your daughter won a beauty contest. Tell us about her." And she was just proud as could be, telling them all about her girl. And they went, "Okay, cool. Thanks. By the way, she was murdered in LA." But then they called her back and said, "We'll pay for your airfare and hotel if you give us the exclusives of what they tell you." She flies into LA. They do it. But they don't take her to a hotel. They just run her around in a car. And yellow journalism is, if y'all don't know, it is when the journalists make up exacerbated facts. They just out and out lie, and just to sell papers. But this was a huge story. You could have did this right and still had a great story. So somebody found out about the Frenches. And before the cops got down to the Frenches, the journalists got there. And they started asking her about it. All of them, mainly. And Dorothy said, "You know what? Her trunk is at the Greyhound building. She left it there." And so by the time, I don't know why it only took a day or two, but that trunk had then been sent down to LA for non-payment. So they found it. Well, then they found out that they couldn't get in it without a police officer Greyhound wasn't going to give them to a journalist. They had to wait for the police. So the journalist called the police to go, "Hey, all right, listen. Now, we found her trunk, all right, here at Greyhound. They need you to come down, you being whoever was, whatever cop, and we'll open it in your office. Not the police office, mind you. We'll open it at the newspaper office, and we'll all see what was in it." And that's what they did. That's what they did. So the police had to get it, and then had to tag along with the journalists to go to the day. Hello. It was insanity. Insanity.
Someone Mimi said hi.
Mimi, I love you very much.
Well, I think the crime scene, they found like a bloody footprint like in the driveway and stuff, and then those cement bags. But I just can't believe the amount of people they allowed to walk around there and
fertilizer bags.
Yeah, it was one thing of watery blood on a fertilizer bag, a heel print, and what else? I can't remember. A heel print, that watery blood thing, and something else. Oh, a tire track, which could have been anybody at that point. But you see how much that is reporters. That's not cops. And they are all over that thing. And even you even had people, you know, that lived around there that were. I mean, this one kid, he was a paper boy, and he ran there because that was the first body, first dead body he'd ever seen. All right, well, there you go.
MS and I.
And what?
MS.
MS, love you, babe. I'm sorry, I can't see chat. My daughter's reading it for me. Let me see. I got after the name. William Randolph Hearst. He owned the Los Angeles Examiner, and that was one of the biggest yellow journalism units in the world. They are the same as basically the Star magazine and the Inquirer.
Because there was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go.
Oh, okay. There was 4 major newspapers in the area, and the Los Angeles Examiner. I think it was noted as the worst journalism.
Right.
Because it like, oh gosh darn it. But yeah, it was at the bottom of the barrel from what I remember.
I wrote a book. I wrote a book, y'all. No, I didn't. I read a book. And it was called Blood and Ink. And it was about the very first, it was a jazz age. It was in the 20s. It was the first case that was just eaten up by the country. And you had these little, you didn't have, you had regular newspapers, right? Regular ones. Well, somebody said, listen, let's sell half of it, half size, put in a lot of pictures, and just cover crime. And that's what they did. And when they were all of them, like the Black Dahlia, and this was in the 20s, they were all trying to top each other. So they would make shit up and just have it on the, and if,
You mean 40?
no, I mean the 20s.
20?
Yes, ma'am. Oh. I know what I read. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
All right. Not a problem. All right, let's go on. Let's get to the autopsy. Real quick. I know. We got to do it. So the autopsy was on January 16th. She was 5'5" and 115 pounds.
She was my height at 150.
Not one drop of blood was in her. She had the light blue eyes and brown hair, ligature marks on her ankles, wrists, and neck, superficial and irregular lacerations to her right breast. Other superficial lacerations are on her forearm, her upper left arm, lower left side of her chest. And this is all where he cut her. The skull was not fractured, but it was bruising from the front to the right side of her scalp. A small amount of sub whatever bleeding. And again, that's consistent with blows to the head. The cause of death, again, was the laceration of the face. 3 inches on one side, 2.5 on the other, and then the shock from the blows to the head. Her lower body intestines were removed and neatly tucked under the buttocks. Very little bruising. All right, so when he did the incision between her second and third vertebrae, there was very little bruising, which led them to believe that she was dead or incapacitated greatly. It was a clean cut. He didn't nick any. He nicked no organs, no intestines. He didn't. So obviously, this must be a doctor. Is what everybody thought. This has got to be a doctor.
And the cut, the like it was transecting the lumbar spine between the second and third vertebrae. Like the cut was called a hysterectomy or something.
Yeah, it's a long word. I didn't try.
Whatever, I'll try my best. But but I that's why I thought, you know what, this has to be a surgeon or someone with medical knowledge, because to make that kind of such a clean cut and in a spot where you're not nicking or touching any other vertebrae in the back. I mean, he knew.
He
knew.
I think so too.
And yeah, with this well, I'll talk about that in a minute. With this other kid that wasn't a doctor, the chances of them doing okay, here we go. Now, I just asked y'all a little bit ago, what are the chances this is the first murder this dude's ever done? Very little. Probably not the first. What are the odds that on his first try on a bisection, he's going to do it perfectly with very little bruising? Not nicking didn't nick a one organ or any of her intestines. I mean, it's so
yeah.
To me, it's got to be a doctor, or they were also looking for doctors, meat cutters, like butchers.
We thought about fishing boats, like because they fillet fish. They have a lot of knives. They could wash the deck off, but then we got to searching and changed our mind.
Yeah, because they would have to get all that salt water off her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Never have to know anatomy, human anatomy.
Let's see. So now we start getting people that are confessing to the murder. Oh yes, what?
Wildflower says a mortician could do it.
Right, Wildflower. That was also
that's a good.
Could have been a mortician. They had a lot of people on their list, a lot of professions on their list. That it can't be just luck. Mm-hmm. So every Tom, Dick, and Harry started to confess to this murder, and do you know they had over 500 confessions?
Yes.
Why? I don't understand. But on January 21st, a person claiming to be the killer called the editor of the Examiner and said they congratulated him on his coverage of the murder, and then he said, well, listen, I did it, but I'm gonna turn myself in a little later. I'm gonna let the police try to catch me first. And then they told him to, quote, expect some souvenirs of Beth Short in the mail.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
Should happen. Now let me try to find the right. Let me find the right. Hold on. That's not even the one. All right. Well, here's some of them. Some of these letters. They started getting these letters from the Black Dahlia Avenger, whatever. I hate that book. I hate that book. That's Steve Hodel, the name of his book. I hate Steve Hodel. I don't even know why. The day they got this, though, somebody found her purse and her shoe in a trash can that they had Red Manley in. They had him. They had him in custody. And somebody's YouTube's got
that handbag and shoe was found 2 miles from the crime scene.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Somebody's got a.
Is it me? Gosh,
I don't know. Still there. Is it okay?
Okay.
No, still there. Let me see who's past. I can't. There's somebody's got to mute it. Hello. No, can't do it.
We were mute again.
Huh?
All right, is it going?
It's
It's still there.
where?
Is it me? Is it me or?
I don't know.
I don't know. Is it
You need to
um
mute
your
your volume. I mean, mute your sound from YouTube because you'll be able to hear it through StreamYards.
Okay. How do I? Should I leave and come back? And
I don't think that's going to help it. I think you're going to have to.
should I mute my
All right,
mic?
I'm going to mute you real quick, and I'll see if it's you. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's you.
Oh no!
It's you. But I don't hear it now. It's gone now. It's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's roll. It's gone.
Okay.
So they had Red Manley into the in the the police had him, and then they ran him through. Listen, they ran him through the ringer because he was the last one to see her. Obviously, spent the night with her. Before that, his wife was outside patiently waiting on him to come out. But they decided that Red Manley's not the one. He didn't have the skill set, and he wouldn't have done it. So, but he was helpful because the day they started getting these letters, her pocketbook and her shoe showed up on top of a trash can. Now, mind you, police are going out every mile.
no.
No,
No.
we're doing it again.
We're doing it.
Hold on. Let's see. All right. Oh no, but okay, it's good for right now. So they had to let Red Manley look at the purse and the shoe. They were washed down in gasoline, and he looked at him and said, "That's hers." I mean, he would know. He just saw him, And also, a little manila envelope showed up on the 24th, and it was full of the stuff from her pocketbook, her birth certificate, a little
address. Was it the address book?
Yeah, the address book from Mark Hansen. She's taken that from him. His name was like embellished on it. Her birth certificate, letters to different soldiers, her pictures of her and different soldiers. And so that's the murderer. We had the murderer, But here we go here's the stuff from her purse. You see the letter to follow. And he just strung the police along. This was not a dumb man. He was gonna, let's see over here. He said, I'll give up, if he could only get 10 years for her murder. And he said, here you go, don't try to find me. What the hell are you talking about, dude? And then here's the last one. Cut out, of the paper. Have changed my mind. You would not give me a square deal. Dahlia killing was justified. What? What do you mean it was justified, sir? So we don't know. Did she tease this guy and he finally, snapped? Did she run up on the wrong one? I don't know. I don't know how she met. Here's another little letter to the Herald Express. And let me see if there's another one. I don't think there is. So, ladies and everyone in chat, let me come back over here. Exactly, MS. What does he mean it was justified? What could a 22-year-old kid who was not educated, I don't even know if she was street smart. I guess she was. She lived, she made it. For how long? Not long, but
I kind of think she was kind of naive. I mean, I just kind of have a feeling she might have been a little naive and got in with the wrong crowd.
I think if y'all seen ever seen the movie uh Streetcar Named Desire with
No.
Vivian Lee and Marlon Brando, and her Vivian Lee's character Blanche uh always depended on the kindness of strangers, and I think that's what she did. It's like James Elroy, which if I put up the Feast of Death, um, which is James Elroy, the author, and a lot of his police friends. They would have dinner every like month or so. And James Elroy's mother was murdered in the 50s when he was about 11, and so he had kind of, for some reason, fixated on the Dahlia because her murder, just like the Dahlias, has not been solved. But he, you know, floated the idea that maybe she ran up on the wrong one. Maybe she, every once in a while, if she could get out of sex, she would. But if she had to, she had to. She would probably try to get out of it, obviously a lot. And did somebody just absolutely sure? You have these men that have come back from war. The war's over. All right, it's over. And you've got someone with PTSD or whatever. I don't know, but what are the odds that he would also be skilled? I guess he could have been in the army and been like a, paramedic or something. I don't know. I don't think so, but I mean, it's something to consider because we don't know. We just don't know.
Well, and what about the guy in the black car? Like, a couple people had just, like, a couple witnesses had described him.
Yeah.
And I wonder about that guy too, but
I'm gonna tell you, there's another a police woman. See, I started writing all this down, and then I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna get my sticky notes. I don't have to write everything down. I'm trying to be better about that. Not about that one. There is a police woman who claims that she saw Elizabeth Short on the 14th of January coming out of a club, very upset, very disheveled, apparently drunk. And she was with two men and one woman. And she looked frightened. And she went back in after this woman cop spoke to her. The cop swears it was her the night before. But we know that couldn't have happened because she had been dead 10 hours. Before when she was found, had been dead 10 hours.
Was her uterus removed also?
I think there was removed, and in places. I mean, he would take things off and put it in other places.
Okay.
So it was not good. So we're going to get on here and we're going to move on to the suspects. Oh, yes, we are suspects. Our first suspect. What? My little chat readers over here working.
Some people are saying that it can.
All right, here's Red Manley. Sorry, right there. He was taking one of his very many lie detector tests, and he passed, like I said. So he's a non-contender at this point. This is
Martin Lewis?
No, it is. No. Hold on. It is Leslie Dillon. Now, Leslie Dillon, that's who this book is written about. The Black Dahlia Red Rose. He called from Florida, and he called the LAPD, and he said, I know who did it. It was my friend, so-and-so. And he gave them a lot of information that they hadn't released. So a doctor in the department, Dr. DeRiver, said DeRiver had just pretty much nailed some guy with psychiatric, shit. I can't even. I know what I'm trying to say. I just can't think of it. Almost profiling. He had profiled this one guy, and he was like the biggest hero in the LAPD, right? Well, Dr. DeRiver said, you know what? He killed her, and he's got a split personality, and we're gonna go get him, right, guys? So he got some of his officers from the gangster unit, and they went to drive him, Mr. Dillon, across to get him to LA. And he kept coming up with a lot of information that they had not released. But he kept talking about his friend. It wasn't him, it was his friend. His friend told him. So what they did was a lot like what the press did with Phoebe Short. They got him in a room and wouldn't let him go. The police, all right? And he was begging for a lawyer, begging for, whatever. He had to slip a note out of the hotel room to give to somebody, and they came and got him out. Now, it turns out the friend was real, but the friend was a bellhop in like San Francisco. This guy right here worked at a mortuary. Yeah. And he knew a lot about the murder. And there was a certain hotel that was brand new. Him and some other people were staying in it. And the room that he had been staying in, I'm trying to remember this book because it's been a couple years, but it was covered in feces. He left, and as we remember, she was forced to eat her own feces. But they didn't charge him. He sued the police department, and he won. Now, was he the killer? I don't know. Look at him. He looked kind of, weird to me. The area is surrounded by, I think one of them is Dr. DeRiver. And I mean, look at him. He was in LA at the time. He would go between a trailer park and this brand. It's a really good book to read, but I mean, do we have to go through George Hodel?
I know. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I started reading about him and I was just like, all right.
He was a sick bastard.
Yes, this is who we think did it. This is who we really
you do think. All right. All right. Listen.
Maybe not alone, but
we think it was him and another friend of his, Manoir.
Yeah. Man Ray.
That's
it.
Okay. So George Hodel, let me come back over to him. Let me put his little picture up. Little asshole. There he is. I'm coming back over so I can see chat. Hello, my sweet loves. There's 52 in here. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate this. I know this is a non-drama, and I appreciate you being here with non-drama and my beautiful, beautiful panel. Oh, George.
Oh, this man, I tell you what. Oh.
He's a psychopath.
Oh,
George. Hold it. All right, hold on. Somebody.
He even's got that weird little mustache to go with it.
Yeah.
That's what we said. That's what we said too.
So
we saw him, we're like, he did it. Look at the mustache.
George Hodel, Dr. George Hodel's specialty was venereal disease. And he ran a venereal disease clinic. Now, he probably also did illegal abortions in there. I can only, there's rumor. He was a twisted sexual deviant. And I don't mean, I'm telling you, he would have these. All right, let's look at his house. I'm going to show you this house.
And if you run a state-run clinic, how do you afford that house? How do you afford that house?
There's Red looking at the stuff. I forgot to put it. All right, here's the house.
Are you kidding?
No, that's it. That is not. Now, Frank Lloyd Wright's son,
yes,
designed this house. I would not let Frank Lloyd Wright take any credit for this monstrosity. But anyway, so there were secret passages. They were this. They were that. There was, They would have sex parties, just crawling all over each other. You know, hey, listen, you do what you do.
That reminds me of. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like,
go ahead.
It's like Aztec. I don't understand it. It's like he didn't finish it, but you know, it's really beautiful inside.
And if you look, it's at the old photos of it, it's covered in plants like around the pool, and that in the fertilizer bag. It just those are just different things that we picked out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful.
And the human blood in the back, decomp in the backyard.
Yep, a dog hit on one of the passages. Well, he had a daughter, Tamar.
Yeah, something like that.
That he sexually assaulted. They went to court. 3 witnesses said, I saw him have sex with his daughter, and he was acquitted.
Yep, they were scared.
You tell me. Now, Man Ray was a artist, and it's spelled just like, you know, it sounds. He was a photographer, and there are several photographs of Mr. Hodel by Man Ray. So and I'm going to bring it up. His son, Steve Hodel, may he rot in hell. I'm telling you, I hate Steve Hodel. So his father moved to the Oregon, whatever, and he
Philippines,
he was married like 8 times. I don't know, like
had 11 kids.
Yeah. So, oh my God, let me open again. The bastard dies, right? And I'm sorry, am I supposed to be nice? And Steve Hodel, who is a former homicide detective with the LAPD, and turned into oh my God, who is this kid does. All right, hold on. I'm gonna mute you. I think it's you. It is you, Jeannie. All right, just we'll figure it out. You can unmute yourself, but I just muted it. He got into his father's stuff, and he found the file on him. Let me go find it. Let me go. He found a very small photograph album, and he found these 2 photographs.
You're very passionate about these photographs.
I hate these women. I don't know who they are. I hate them. And he said, Steve Hodel said, that's the Black Dahlia. I can't believe I have to talk about this. So here's a point. Somebody trying to say, oh, here she's got an ear. Like, oh, and so did Best Short have an ear. Oh, she's got hair. And oh, Best Short had hair. Oh, look, she's got a side of the head. So I don't know what this is right here is supposed to do. But it ain't, it's not Elizabeth Short.
They said, but facial recognition, when they ran it through facial recognition.
Very nice, somewhat. Agree. It ain't.
That's not her.
Oh, it ain't her. Oh, get out of it.
Also, Flash is here.
Flash! I love you, baby.
And MS said, try echo cancel, which you can look for later.
All right, so this photo right here, Lavender, is the one you're talking about. Look,
yeah. And inside around the pool, that whole place is nothing but flowers.
Yeah.
So he'd have to have a gardener, and they'd have to use lots of fertilizer. I guarantee you on all those plants.
Oh, yeah, of course. So, you know, Steve wrote a book, and it was a very long book. And he made the case that his father was basically a deviant. And he made, you know, that these were, I just don't see it. I'm not saying that Mr. Dr. Hodel didn't kill her. That's not Elizabeth Short, what I'm looking at right here, especially the one on the right. It ain't her. No, it ain't her on the left either. It ain't her. So now, Lavender, why do you think this is the guy?
I think it's when they were talking, we watched a couple shows and stuff, and they were talking about where the vertebrae was cut in the back
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. And several of the morticians that went over it said that it looked like it had been done by a surgeon. He had also been seen with her, and then he actually paid. There was somebody that made a confession that he did hang around with her, and then they recanted. But it was also some of the people in his daughter's trial recanted because he had actually, they found proof that he had paid off judges,
Mm-hmm.
that he owned police officers. Okay, and then you go back to the fact that we think that she could have been a prostitute, and he worked in a free clinic,
Right.
which he had access to
DVD.
abortions, free clinics. I almost think we even kind of thought that maybe he trafficked or was a, because there's no way working for a free clinic he paid for that house and was able to buy off judges
Right.
and to bail. So that all that kind of made us think that maybe he met these young women at, you know, at his job, took advantage of them. He had orgies and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff at his house, so he would have known her. And well, he did know her because somebody admitted that they used to go out occasionally, whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that means. But
Katie?
and then his friend that's the artist was also into abstract art.
Yeah.
And it kind of, and this dude is like crazy smart, like an IQ of 180.
Yeah,
Wasn't it 180?
Yes.
Yeah,
It was
like
out of this world.
yeah. So he's like way above genius level. And he always wanted, and they said he wanted to be an artist. So, and then you look at the way her body is posed, and they found a bunch of art in his house where some of the art had Man Ray, where um, some of the models had arms up and were posed in some of those positions, and even had the lips, and the lips, you know how her lips were done?
Right.
Painted on some of the paintings and stuff
I
like that.
remember- I
So
do
we
remember
think it's him and Man
We
Ray.
think they did it together because of tic-tac-toe too.
Yeah, and the tic-tac-toe too, because they said, how often do you know people that play tic-tac-toe? And we know he's a sadistic pervert.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's pretty
So,
mildly.
Jeannie, what do you think about Hodel?
Well, now that I'm hearing about it more, like I'm he sounds very likely. I listened to another guy. His name was Larry Harnish.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm gonna play him in a minute.
Okay, I listened to him too because I wanted to hear kind of both sides, and I'm trying to find a good book to read about this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I listened to him a bit, and Hodel, God, you're making a good case for this guy, you know.
They are.
So,
and see, Voodoo, he was like a free clinic type thing he did.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't but he also somehow was with the stars. He was also a doctor to the stars. How weird is that you're a doctor to the stars and then you work at a free clinic,
Right.
or whatever they call it, a free health clinic or whatever in the city? Isn't that odd?
Women.
and how can you afford that house? I mean, we're talking about like, I don't know, Depression era and everything like that. Like,
well, see, with the 40s, in the 40s, all right, so we were ending World War, you know, war is always good business. I know that sounds horrible to say, but hey, if you want to make some money, start a war. So people were coming back home. There were houses going up all over LA, these little, you know, like where she was found, these little neighborhoods popping up. People were coming out to California. Money was I would imagine it was everywhere. I mean, you know.
Well, and he had paid off judges, paid off police officers.
Right.
He had like the witnesses in his daughter's trial all recanted, and then later a bunch of them admitted that they were just afraid of him, and then they came up with proof that he had paid the judge off.
Yeah, he was sadistic.
Yes.
He wasn't just a deviant. He was sadistic.
And a lot of the sexual crimes against her were sadistic too, you know.
Exactly. And I'll show you. There's one more. I don't know if I'm going to show it. It's a photograph of her on the table. And let me see. Yeah, he was the worst one. My daughter, I didn't even look at him. And I don't, I mean, who wants to? I don't want to either. But
What year was this again?
Again, if you, I have to, what?
What year was this again?
1947. 1947. Let me see. All right, let me, hold on. Yeah, warning, something bad's coming. I just don't know where it is.
Mom,
Here
read all this.
we go. All right.
Oh my god.
Now, do you see how her waist and is up, tilted up? That's the way he cut her. All right. He and it's stuck that way.
There we go.
You know. Now, again, look how absolutely straight I'm looking right here. There, yeah,
It's perfect.
Yes, it's perfect.
It's absolutely perfect. It's absolutely perfect right here. He had her tied up, probably laying over, and hold on. I'm gonna, there we go. I'm sorry. It was perfect. It was perfect. I don't want to leave that up. Hold on. Let me move this. Let me move. Sorry. All right. I'll move it.
What if it was?
Oh, I mean,
circle of evil.
And see, he wanted to be an artist, an abstract artist and stuff. And I think that might be where the cuts on her face play in, some of the odd, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the way he arranged her and stuff. But that's just what I'm thinking, you know?
Is it Mark Hansen yet? Is it a man?
like about his house, how you said there was like all these different rooms and everything.
Right. And secret passageways.
Yeah, it reminds me of George Holmes.
And that's if that's the real picture.
Yes, that's the real picture. MS. It is the real photograph of her on the table.
Oh.
I know it's disgusting, and I know, but I mean, if we're gonna talk about it, we gotta look at her. And there she go. All right, so this right here is Mark Hansen. They thought maybe he did it. He knew the Dillon kid over here. So this is Mark Hansen from before. They thought maybe, oh well, he must have obviously killed this Dillon boy, killed her for Mark Hansen. Whatever. He didn't do it. He didn't give shit. Now, this is Dr. Hold on. This
Voodoo said that a heated instrument to cauterize, but
he what?
Voodoo said heated instrument. Oh my god, heated instrument to cauterize.
Oh, cauterize. Cauterize. Yeah, could be. This is the doctor that we're going to listen to, Larry Harnish, and he has a theory about this dude, and he thinks that this guy's the killer. And why have I lost?
This one. Okay. Hey, what's that?
It's a guy. It's Walter Bailey.
Oh, we haven't heard about him.
If I can find, hold on, I have lost. All right, here we're gonna do. I'm going to now I'm gonna stop sharing that, and then I'm gonna share because I'm gonna let him explain why he thinks he's the murderer. All right. Can you see? Is it? What's going on over there? Is it?
Oh, sorry. I know.
Is it?
It's on screen.
Okay. Now the body is very been uniquely carved. First of all, it's cut in half. She had a tattoo on her leg that has been going to be a little evasive. It has been cut out of her leg.
The body was found.
It had been removed, and the I will phrase it as the newspaper said today. It was recovered during her autopsy.
In other words, he cut it off with
Oh,
her thigh
somebody-
and stuck it in her vagina.
Mr. Hopkins did a movie along these lines.
Where did he put it?
Where did he put it?
It's not found on the body.
Not found on the body.
Not on the body.
It is found on the body.
Where?
In the mouth.
Where? Right here.
Keep guessing.
The rectum.
Random.
Don't tell him.
That's all.
Okay, I won't tell you.
What is the cause of
She
death?
choked on her own blood.
Is that it? Oh, okay, asphyxiation.
Okay, asphyxiation.
That's what they think it was.
What they think it was.
But there's no ligatures, no
Anything
beatings.
other than the cut marks?
All right, hold on. Somebody's got a plan. We find
I
it.
think
Let's see.
Let's see.
Is it me?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, because we were muted.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to mute.
Okay, and then
All right.
and you go back. So like because they didn't hear it.
Who didn't hear it?
In the back.
Oh,
the head.
okay.
Oh, the head.
Oh,
You're making some fucked
All
up
right.
movie about
Here, I'm
me.
gonna go
These are
back.
my policeman and journalist friends. And we're going through an endless fucking recitation on the Black Dahlia murder case. Larry Harnish.
You
But
said
Larry,
you wanted to hear it all.
no, Larry. No,
That's
Larry
right.
has
That's
probably solved the Black Dahlia murder case. Larry is the
Shit.
yeah. These guys are
We
tormenting
refuse
him
to let him.
Yeah. because they are empiricists.
Hold on, guys. God, that's America.
You're trying your best, Mom.
4980 Beverly
All
Boulevard.
right, is it
This
back?
place right here. After my mother died, my old man was living from there. Idiot place.
All right, I'm sorry, I went back.
Been uniquely carved. First of all, it's cut in half. She had a tattoo on her leg that has been going to be a little evasive. It has been cut out of her leg, and
When the body was found, it had
yeah,
been removed.
it had been
Oh,
removed.
so
So the guy took souvenirs.
And let me finish. I will phrase it as the newspaper did of the day. It was recovered during her autopsy.
In other words, he cut it off of her thigh and stuck it in her vagina.
Yeah,
Mr.
sure.
Hopkins
Yeah.
did a movie along these lines.
Where did he put it? It's not found on the body.
No, it is found on the body. It's just not in the vagina.
Where?
In the mouth.
It's in her ear.
No. Keep guessing.
No. In
The
throat.
rectum.
Don't tell him.
Don't tell him.
Okay, I won't
Okay.
tell you.
What is the cause of
She
death?
choked on her own blood.
Is that it? Oh,
Right.
okay, asphyxiation. Okay.
That's what they think it was.
So she
Okay.
was.
But there's no ligatures, no beatings.
anything
no,
other than the cut marks?
Mm-mm.
There was
Oh, she did get a beating.
There were stab wounds
On the back?
to the head.
they poked
To
Oh, the head.
Beating
Like
to the
hit,
head.
yeah, she was hitting the head. Part of one breast was removed.
What part? No.
Up here. Up here, not the
Okay,
nipple, but like over,
okay,
just a.
just curious, trying to get
I hope I get a
Uh,
for that.
And then probably the most unique thing was her
Who
mouth
was
was cut
playing?
here like this,
Oh
and
well.
like
Both sides.
like that, both sides.
both
Like
cheeks
a
all the way
smile.
up,
all the
like
way
a
up.
smile.
Exactly, like a smile.
Smile this.
Body is
Laugh at this bitch.
washed clean, drained of blood, completely drained of blood. When the investigators get there, they find like one drop of blood on the sidewalk. It's clearly done by somebody who knew exactly what they're doing, how to cut somebody in half.
Is it-
There was
is
no
that-
hacking.
is that
no
the-
thing.
This is a journalist talking to hardened police detectives. And a little before this, they were ragging him. But now he's getting a chance to speak. He's a journalist. And he's getting a chance to speak. And if you notice, he shuts them the hell up. And instead of writing all this out or telling you, I thought we'll just play it because it's brilliant.
A magician.
You know,
They think it was with a big knife, and he went right between, I forget which vertebrae it was, but he went right between the vertebrae. The guy who used to be head of the LAPD that was Ray Pinker, he's dead. But I knew his widow, and she said they always said it was a clean professional job. Whoever did it knew exactly what he was doing.
Maybe a doctor with some medical
Ah.
background.
Well, we're right on the
We're
cusp.
getting-
That's
we
where
are
we're-
right. Yeah, we are
Yeah,
right on the
You're
cusp
holding back from
of
us.
part
I know
two.
you are.
2-second intermission. We are right on the cusp of part two, which is Larry's suspect and how Larry put it together and how his theory conforms to everything that we know about the case and specifically answers the question, which is why did this motherfucker dump the two parts of Elizabeth Short, specifically
love
at
James
39th and
Ellroy.
Norton?
I love
Back
it.
to you, Larry Harnish.
They're
forget Elizabeth Short.
posing.
Let's just leave her lying there. Yeah, for a minute. Let's go back to the older sister. Remember Virginia? Okay. Let's go back to 1945. When I started doing research on this story, people started sending me things. So this box of stuff shows up on my doorstep one day. One of the things in there is the marriage certificate of Virginia Short and Adrian West. I decided to go find the house where they got married. And I'm looking at the marriage certificate. And down at the bottom, not up top, but down at the bottom where we've got the address of where they got married, one of the witnesses is signed. It's real hard to read what it is. It says Barbara Lindgren, and hard to read.
Hey,
Norton
Gigi,
Avenue.
it's
Now, I should
echoing
tell you, I've
again.
talked to a guy, John Douglas. You know who John Douglas is?
Celebrated FBI profile.
Okay. He's one of the people. Everybody has a different opinion about John Douglas, but he said there's something about that neighborhood. He said you got a killer who's got a car. Anytime you got a killer with a car, he's making a decision why he decides to leave the body there and not somewhere else. He said he could have been, in 15 minutes, he could have been in the mountains, he could have been in the desert, he could have been in the ocean. Nobody would ever found her. But he didn't do that. He goes to a residential neighborhood, even though this entire block is vacant. It's right off of Crenshaw. There's houses 1 block south of there. There's houses 1 block north of there. He said, it's not a good spot to leave a body. You're going to get your ass caught. So the question is, what is it about this neighborhood? So I'm looking at the marriage certificate. Son of a gun, Norton Avenue. Not just Norton Avenue, but 3959 South Norton Avenue. That is 1 block from the crime scene.
Bingo.
So now you've got something totally different. You've got Elizabeth Short is lying in the 3800 block.
Familiar.
You've got the sister knows somebody a block away.
Right.
That's too good not to follow.
Never reported in any of the Black Dahlia literature.
Nobody.
Ever.
Is that right?
Ever.
Yeah, and I don't
Completely
think the original.
unreported.
I go to the Hall of Records down in the basement, the big books with the.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Go back and find out who owned the property in 1947. This address, and long story short, it's a woman named Ruth Bailey, Bayley. Okay, go back to the Times clip files and look up Ruth Bailey, and what do we find? Ruth Bailey is the wife. Ruth Bailey, first of all, is the mother of the gal who signed the marriage certificate as the witness. Ruth Bailey is married to not only a doctor, but a surgeon.
You're talking
Name's-
clean cut.
You're talking to a guy. You're talking about a guy named Walter Bailey, former chief of staff at County Hospital, on the staff of USC Medical School. But Walter, his life is unraveling.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, Walter's life is unraveling. He's got, we would recognize it today as Alzheimer's.
Oh,
He's
okay.
not all there. And he dies, as it turns out, in 1948, not quite a year after the Black Dahlia case.
Did he leave a note saying, "I wish I wouldn't have done that" or anything
Well,
like that?
Or I
It's
wish I could
interesting.
remember what I did.
Something nice.
I'll tell you, let Ray go more into his medical condition.
Yeah, he had a thing with, it's called encephalomalacia, where it's it's actually a softening of the brain tissue.
The brain condition that Dr. Bailey had was known to produce homicidal behavior in normally passive individuals.
Yeah, well, a lot of guys on the side had that.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Right.
You can get over it with
How
little
did
Jack
you find
Daniels.
that out?
Yeah.
Well, it's on his death certificate. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: Virginia, the sister.
Yeah.
Is she ever interviewed? I assume she must have been.
She was interviewed
Because
it's
the
a
first
very-
thing as a detective, you're going to say, "Who do you know that she knew in the LA area?"
Virginia Short or Adrian West told Sister Betty, if you're ever down and out in LA, if you ever need a helping hand, call Dr. Bailey.
Of course, yeah.
He's the guy.
That's
Also, something very interesting here. Larry interviewed Barbara Lindgren on the wedding certificate and questioned her about her time, referential to the time frame of the Dahlia death. And she disingenuously contended that she didn't recall it when it happened a block from the family homestead.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
when I
you
talked
better
to
remember.
her, this is what I said, because I was talking about, the
I
church
wouldn't cut
activities,
half
and
a
did you know,
block
you were at the
walking
wedding
around,
with
where
these
you gonna
people.
go? I remember.
I said, did you know that this lady's younger sister was found killed a block from your house? Nope.
Oh no.
Nope, mother never mentioned it.
And the most celebrated unsolved homicide in American history.
And she never heard of it.
Yeah.
No, it couldn't have been there.
Yeah. A block from the family
The
pad.
reason we know about Walter at all is because after he died, his widow sued his girlfriend over his estate. What happened with Walter is Walter had originally befriended a nurse,
that devil,
who was from Vienna. It was graduate of the University of Medical School. Had come to the U.S. as an emigre.
You know those Viennese.
Worked as a nurse, and then became a partner in his practice. Originally started, they just befriended him, and later on, she became a partner in his practice.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a doctor.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a doctor. She's another
she's a
surgeon.
doctor then.
Yeah. She's another surgeon.
Oh my God.
And the kind of practice,
Maybe she did it.
maybe she knows. The kind of practice Walter Bailey does is he does
Yeah, we need to get that out.
mastectomies, hysterectomies, and the surgical removal of fat before liposuction. They would go in. That's what he was
In
doing. 47.
47.
They were doing it earlier than that. He had walked out on the wife and family for the girlfriend in October.
All
of
right, I'm going to
46.
stop it.
And
This is a very interesting story. It turns out that the girlfriend becomes a doctor. What they like to do is eat dinner and watch autopsies, films of autopsies. So I mean, pretty sick dude. There's just one more, and this is Pat O'Reilly. He was a doctor that knew Elizabeth through Mark Hansen. Now, he took his secretary to a motel and sadistically beat her almost to death for apparently no other reason than sexual gratification without any intercourse. So beating this woman half to death excited him. And this guy would have known her. So I don't know who did it.
And we forgot about George Hodel killing his secretary. And having the wiretap in his house too, where they heard a woman screaming.
Right.
And remember they never followed up on.
And they started. What did they start doing in the 50s? They started
wiretapping his house. Yeah.
And his secretary died of a drug overdose. And he made the comment on a phone or whatever. Well, what if I did kill her? My secretary's dead. She can't talk.
And
Something
and
in
they
that.
they think she was going to blackmail him because he actually went over to her house and all kinds of stuff. And they think that she was planning on blackmailing him over some other stuff.
And
All right, Jeannie, who do you,
not the only one that he killed.
Yeah, and that Elizabeth Short was not the only one that he killed.
No, I don't think so either. I don't. Here's the thing: you've got a cluster of psychos, basically, in LA of all places. Can you imagine?
Well, what about this? Look, it's all in LA. It happened by a doctor.
Jeannie, I gotta meet you again, baby.
He had orgies and all kinds of secret stuff. How do you know? Like, we were just out at her lake house, and half the doctors in this town live out here by her lake house. They're all friends. So who's to say that, like back in the 40s, all them in Los Angeles, that they didn't have some kind of weird group of freak? Because freak doctors, because he even had a room in his house his kids were not even allowed to be in. And orgies, he didn't have an orgy alone.
I think you're onto something, because I think they did have a cluster, literally a cluster of degenerates or whatever that used women, especially young women, because LA is full of young, beautiful women who are naive.
Yeah. Well, and he was a doctor to the stars and worked at that clinic. So we were already thinking when we started looking at him that maybe he was prostituting young women that he met through that clinic, or even promised them that he could introduce them to celebrities because he knew celebrities. But that's such a weird combination.
Parties, so and so's coming, and they show up not knowing that they are on the menu.
Yes, and he treats venereal diseases and does abortions and stuff, so he knows. And we were even wondering if that's where some of the where maybe he was getting some of his money from blackmailing judges, blackmailing police officers.
Yeah, because they probably brought women to him and said, "Listen,
Yep.
Liza, see, I am with the Bailey mistress. I mean,
we're gonna have to look at that. We hadn't even heard of that. Now we're gonna look at
this
that
is
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I didn't want to keep playing it, but I mean the way Larry Harnish lays it out. I mean, when you're around the corner, you know, up a block and a half away, and the daughter is going, "Oh no, I don't remember a woman cut in half."
How do you remember that?
Yeah, the biggest case ever around that area ever.
Yeah, never.
She was just good like that to send a message to someone.
Yeah,
and they wrote it down. And
is that did you bring your daughter?
Huh?
Did you bring your daughter?
No, I got my bestie. This is girls' weekend.
Oh, yo!
we're having a girls' week.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy those? Did you enjoy like doing this together?
Girl, we were like in there, we had it on the big TV, and we were like, oh, we were pausing it like every 10 minutes, like, and Googling and pausing.
I hear you. That's what I do. I've been down here in the office, just like, you know, you think you know, and you think, oh, I've read 4 books on this, you know, and then you go and there's a little pocket of something that I've never heard of before, and I would just be like, y'all just jump in it, and it opened up a whole new deals. I mean, I just have to keep remembering that this girl was a kid, and we all have children probably older than her.
That's what
or at least as old as her.
It was bothering her a while ago because one of her youngest is that old. See our little profile picture, just FYI, that is us when we are 18 and 19?
Yes,
18 and 19.
Wow, that's great.
And we're still getting in trouble.
Good. That's wonderful. All right, Jeannie, do you have a theory? Do you have a theory? Jeannie, if you had to do it today, oh my God, you're going to have to mute me.
I'm sorry. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot today, and I'm going to look more into the into Hodel.
Right.
Into yeah, and I thank you guys for all the information because, like, I feel stupid being up here because I thought
But
no,
it's fun when somebody new is here.
You did work and you did great.
Well, but I appreciate your knowledge because wow, I learned a lot, and I'm going to start looking into Mr. Hodel and that avenue because wow.
All right, I have picked a mystery out of our mystery jar, and the mystery that I have picked is the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh.
There it is. Now, we'll start on that. But, all right, while I was doing this, I'll say this real quick. I'm going to let y'all go. So they brought up the lipstick murder and the torso murders. And I had a bunch of pictures, not of torsos, hate to tell you. But a lot of these murders, okay, they couldn't be connected to Elizabeth Short. There's no way. One, the lipstick murders, where the hell did that happen at? I don't even remember. I don't remember what happened. It was not in LA though. And the guy, he did right on the walls. He killed 3 people. The last one that he killed was a 6-year-old girl, and he did dismember her. So I guess that's why people want it. But it was nowhere, and he was caught way before 1947. So in the torso murders of Cleveland, there were 13 to 20 plus victims. They were bums, and I hate to say it like that, but I mean, they lived in shanty towns, and they were beheaded and dismembered. And it's so Elliot Elliot Ness moved after, the Untouchables. He went to Cleveland to become the public director of safety. And he started closing down all these shanty towns, right? He just, he would go, they would burn them down. And he thought that was going to randomly. He thought that burning all these shanty towns down was going to stop the murderer. Well, the murderer said, really, Elliot Ness, watch this. And put 2 more victims outside of Elliot Ness's window at work. So, didn't really work. And that was from anywhere from the 30s to the 50s, depending on how many you believe, 30s to the 50s. Never caught him. It's a very interesting case. It's a lot. But the main thing in that was Elliot Ness he just made him look like a fool. So, hold on, there we go. I even thought about maybe looking into that more, but I've had enough murder for one day.
Oh, Gigi, you got to get some headphones because it'd be so fun if you can you join in.
Some earbuds.
Yeah.
What you need, baby. Well, I want to thank Lavender.
Oh, she's got them and it's still doing backup.
Yeah, they didn't work.
Oh, man.
Here, it'll work all right for a second, and then for some reason it's fine right now. I don't know what happens. State of disorder. I hope that you in the chat enjoyed it. If you have any mysteries that you're obsessed with, put them in the comments because we'll probably be obsessed with them too.
So we're doing we're doing Natalie Wood and then
Natalie Wood. Yes, ma'am. So in 2 weeks on the hold on while I tilt y'all up. On the
see her studio, isn't that nice?
Yes. Oh, thank you. It's the 22nd? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We're going to build a studio.
Wood. Saturday, murder, mystery, accident, suicide, or murder, Natalie Wood. And that'll be fun. And if y'all are fans, please join me and we can do this like now. We'll have a panel and that would be fun. So, did you, Annabella? Thank you. I'm glad. I tried to. I thank my panel because they're great, and my daughter back for reading. And I am going to. My husband made some ribs, so I'm getting ready to go rip them up. Mm. Yes, but I love you, Lavender. I love you, Jeannie.
Well, I love you too, Jeannie. Hopefully we can all talk.
I love you, Lavender's friend. Hello, Memphis. I love you.
Love. We're gonna try to set us up a studio. Maybe that'll be our project next week.
Thank you, Bruin Hill. Thank you. All right, Ghost. I'm looking forward to seeing you back here.
So, wait, Ghost was here?
No, Ghost. Sorry. All right, I gotta be. Everybody be safe. Have a safe 4th. Have a safe everything. And
Good
I
night.
love you all.
Night.
All right, and we'll see y'all much later. Bye.
Bye.